brings up one of the stories I would like to dive into a little bit, and it's both the good and the bad with
This is a good tee up.
yeah, with your
This is a good tee up.
it's it's also where our relationship
Yeah.
blossomed,
Yeah.
really.
I met you last winter.
Yeah, because, 2022. I'll let you tell the story. I would never even try, but I definitely want to spend some time to dive into it because it's dear to me in the sense because your event, your situation is something that any one of us who travel on the road with these artists think could happen. So with that said,
Well, all right. So
let's let them know what happened.
this came out in the public eye pretty quick. Obviously, Hardy's like a big deal at this point last year. And yeah, we got into one of very few bus wrecks, car accident, bus accident. The story goes, dude, we were doing a show in Bristol, Tennessee, Country Thunder, which was fucking awesome. It was this big NASCAR, whatever, stadium or whatever you want to call it. Huge show. We were direct support for Morgan. And it's only 4 hours away from town. So it's like, all right, let's do the show, hop on the bus, 4-hour trip. Let's just fucking stay up. So at this time, I was living on the bus with Hardy. So it's literally just me, him, our tour manager, and then the bus driver. It was literally it. And we were doing that for probably well over a year. Which that's
Living on the bus.
I was living on the bus with him. He was, when we first started, we had one bus and it was everybody, but then he got to a point where he got his own bus, and I don't know, me and him have been close ever since, and we'll get into that after this story, but he was like, you hop on my bus. And I was like, done. Mm-hmm. So me and him we were like that. So the show gets done. We're hanging out for a little bit. We watch Morgan perform, and then it's like, all right, let's go. And then there was a moment I almost was gonna ride a different bus or something. Yeah, there was like, because we were all hanging out, we were all partying with the boys, and they're like, dude, just roll with us. And then, I could see the look on Hardy. He's like, no, man, come with me, dude, because he doesn't want to be alone, you know.
And there's condo bunks there on that one.
Oh yeah, we were pretty spoiled. Yeah, it was a nice bus. So last minute decision, I was like, fucking, I'm going on our bus. 4 hours. Right when we get on, he's like, dude, you want to just stay up? He's like, we'll just drink a couple beers and we'll be there in no time. I was like, done. Me and him are vibing. We're just like listening to music. Our tour manager at the time was asleep. So it was just me and Hardy just in the front lounge. We're listening to music and he's playing his demos, which is like just a normal thing. And we're talking about it. We're talking about the show.
You're in the lounge.
We're in the front lounge.
Yeah.
Big wide open space. I'm editing photos from the show. The last person I text, ironically, is Lauren Elena, because she came out and did one beer during the show. So I'll take specific photos for her, send it to her because we've been close for a while. So I send that off and it's like, all right, my work here is done. Shut my computer, and again, we're just vibing out. It's a 4-hour drive. He decides, I think we were talking about demos or something, but it forces him to FaceTime Morgan because Morgan just got done. So literally Morgan just got done, or he's on his bus headed back, and we're just shooting shit. I couldn't even tell you what the hell we were talking about. And then, dude, fucking all of a sudden we're FaceTiming him, we're talking with Morgan, and all of a sudden the bus hits this huge jump. It's almost like this huge bump, and we flew up in the air, probably like.
And you're used to some bumps though when you're out there. You're like, oh crap, But
yeah, the thing about the tour buses, everyone's got that fear.
Exactly.
They hit the rumble strips, and you're like,
okay,
what is that?
You know what I mean?
Up there? It's a lot different than being in a car. So we hit this bump, and by the way, this happens within fucking 4 seconds, 5 seconds. We hit this bump. I land back down. Hardy's got the phone in his hand. He looks at me. He goes, what the fuck was that? And before he even finishes, fucking Bus flips into the woods. We're thrown across the room. Blackout.
What do you see? Just, I mean,
Oh, it was like,
I mean,
I remember-
party's here and all of a sudden,
I remember screaming, and then that was it. I don't even remember hitting the wall. That basically we were
you
all
hit the wall.
Yeah, we were all flipped in the whole bus. And Morgan, you know, later on he met up with us in the hospital. He was there right away, and because we screamed really like it was scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
No.
I've talked with him about it, and I can't imagine what he had to go through.
Silence that time away.
Just like normal talk, laughing, all of a sudden screaming, and then silence.
And that, yeah.
And he was with his buddy Cody, who's his right-hand man,
Sure.
and he's like, yo, something just happened. And then he texted us. I got a text message from him.
At that time.
Yeah, I kind of want to screenshot that. And he was like, yo, this ain't funny. What the fuck? Are you guys pulling a prank? He thought we were pulling a prank on him.
Of course. Holy cow.
I know. So obviously I don't respond. That leads him to talk to his bus driver. His bus driver talks to another one of our bus drivers. They try to reach out to our driver. They can't get a hold of us.
Okay.
They put all this 2 to 2 together, and they're like, something happened. Something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So
When you came to.
yeah, so here's where it kind of gets a little crazy. When I wake up, the bus is flipped on its side, and we're in the woods. It's pitch black, smoke everywhere. I wake up, I'm like sitting on my ass, and like my head's kind of down. I think my body was like hunched over. So I came about, and it was basically like a movie. It was this like flashes of like, you know, your eyelids are like slowly opening, and it was like,
Are you alive?
well, no, it was a
happened?
dream. I don't know even what the fuck happened. I was like, my first thing I said, I was like, I even thought that like I passed out, like I went to bed, and then I was like, are we at bus call? Like, are we back yet?
Wow.
I think I asked that, and then I'm like looking around, I'm like, this is fucked up. And I turn 1 second, my ribs are broken. So I was like, oh, that's not good. That's an awareness thing. Then I'm looking down, and I'm like, oh, something's not right. You know what I mean?
I saw your foot in Charlotte.
Yeah, so I look at my foot. Basically, it's coming to that, like, oh, we were in an accident.
Mm-hmm.
No, dude, I'll tell you right now, man. Like, the 4 beers that I had on the way there saved my life.
Really?
Because I didn't go into shock.
Kept you, yeah.
There's a moment where I definitely freak out. But so I look down at my foot, and there's this big chunk of wood or something in it, you know, because we're in the woods, and I was like, this big chunk, and I'm like, God, I gotta get that out, you know, like. You're not freaking out yet. You're just thinking of like, I got to get that out. And I think we were all concussed. Pulling on this thing, doesn't come out. I think our tour manager at the time, he was in the bunks. So he's screaming, help. And because I can't move and I don't know what the hell's going on. I was like, dude, I can't help you. And I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like it was all a blur.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know what the fuck was going on. So then I yell for Hardy, and he doesn't respond back. And it was at that moment that I was like, I think he might be dead. And I think that we were in a really bad accident. And that fucked me up. And at that time, I didn't know he was the first one awake, and he got out of the window or something, and he was up on the highway waving people down.
So he had already kind of exited the bus.
Yeah, and he's got his shirt off, and he's trying to wave people down, which, by the way, if you see a bus go into the woods, flip over, like, there's no way of... I'm sure cops were called, and the cops were definitely called, thankfully, because we were FaceTiming Morgan. Are we Gucci? We're good. So, all of a sudden, he doesn't respond, and then you get into that flight or fight mode of... all right, I got to get out of this situation.
Yeah, like,
my ribs are broken. I got this thing in my foot. One of my best friends might be dead. What's going to happen? And then within, I don't know, a minute, he pops out from the woods. And there's the front glass is completely broken, and he peeks his head in. And he's all bloodied in the face, and his hair's messed up. And he's just like, I got someone. pulled over, like help is coming, help is on the way. And I couldn't even tell you because it was such a blur, but when the ambulance showed up, but they were there pretty quick. We were super fortunate that 2 exits down was a hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were close at Nashville. We almost made it. The ambulance comes and they're like, immediately, they're just like, we got to get you guys out. And I was like, well, hold on. Calm down. My ribs are broken. I can't even stand up. And I was like, I got this thing in my foot. The guy was like, I don't care. We got to get you out. Because maybe they thought the thing was going to blow up or something.
Leak oil or fuel and blow up.
So they pull me out. They pull all of us out one by one. We each have our own ambulance. I remember like a little bit like going in the mud, and I was in so much pain. This guy's holding me, but at the same time, my ribs are broken, and I can't walk because my foot's all fucked up. And I finally get into the ambulance, and it was just like a Jesus Christ. And then we start driving, and they're hauling ass. And I was like, dude, I got this thing in my foot. I got this thing in my foot. I've been trying to pull it out. Can you get it out? He looks down at it. He looks at me. He goes, dude, that's your bone. So my bone was popped out, and it looked like a piece of wood. It was just shattered. I mean, my foot was like a pizza.
Yeah, dude. It looked, oh, God, goodness gracious. So you spent how long in rehab? Or in lying flat or
I didn't walk
surgery?
I didn't walk for 4 months.
Golly, so did you,
And I'm still having surgeries to this day.
It's
been 13 months.
In what areas?
Just in the foot. My foot. I won't be able to move. I won't be able to move my big toe ever again. Which of all the things that happened, I mean, I broke a vertebrae in my neck, and that was like the biggest thing when I was in the hospital. I cracked my vertebrae, and the doctors came in. They go, yeah, half an inch away, you would have been dead. Ugh. Yeah, and that I don't know, that didn't hit me until later on. But at the moment, there's so much going on. I was like, yeah, sick. Thanks, man. Put it on my fucking tab. The uncomfortable thing is one of my lungs collapsed, so they had to put a tube. It was like this big, and they had to fucking jam this thing in, and they have to do it right away. Otherwise, you could essentially die from that. They have to get fluid out or something. And I just remember them hammering this shit in, and in the midst of all of this, like Morgan shows up. So we're in the hospital and we're all in our own rooms and in beds, and our band, some of our guys showed up, and they're on the side. Some of them are just like chilling. Other ones are like crying, and it's pretty fucking dramatic.
Sure. And
then, yeah, Morgan's there, and we're all pretty gassed up on pain pills at this point because obviously they had to. Absolutely. I don't even know what I said, dude. If he ever tells the story, I think I was saying some like crazy stuff. I think it was like in regards to his next album. I was like, dude, the music's so good. And he's like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, you're on your deathbed right now. Or like the irony is Hardy's in the other room and he's getting his head stapled.
Wow.
And there were a bunch of kids, dude. He's like, Morgan, come over here and take a picture of this, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, that was wild. At that time, man, I was pretty convinced that I was going to lose my foot. And I was like comfortable with it. Probably it's because of the pain pills. I was like completely numb. I was like, I could live without one foot. I was like,
at what point did you think that? Because I kind of chased you down here and there to check up on you, and at one point I felt you were like,
this is
the beginning phases.
This was the night of when I'm in the hospital and I'm looking at this thing and it's a pizza, and I'm like, this thing's fucking gone. Yeah, this thing's done.
I'm gonna need a crutch, a cane.
Yeah, and yeah, the recovery that sucked, man. I was in the hospital for, I think maybe 5 days. Surgery on my foot, fixed my lungs. I had to wait for my ribs to heal. You'll get a kick out of this because obviously we took a break from touring, but then Hardy got married, and by the way, I was at that wedding in a wheelchair and a neck brace, and I was high on pills. I don't even fucking remember what the hell happened. We had shows in December, which is when I met you.
Absolutely.
And I think it was like the very first week, you weren't there, but I also wasn't there. And my biggest thing, I don't know, I guess with the accident is like, wow, that was a crazy part of the story.
Sure.
That was fucking nuts. All right, let's get back to it. Just to see like all my brothers out on the road, and I couldn't be there. Yeah. Like that fucking ate me up. I probably cried over that more than the fucking accident.
You were definitely inspired when I kept getting on you. I was trying to help you get that inspiration too. I was like, you'll be up and running in no time. Just keep focused. Don't think about the road to get there. Just think about what you're going to do when you get there.
Yeah, and I went out. That's where we met officially in Charlotte. Hardy did 3 nights at Coyote Joe's. And I got the green light to like take my neck brace off, and I was like, I'm fucking going. Which was, by the way, this was such a bad idea. I should not have gone at all. But yeah, I just missed it. You know what I mean? That ate me up like crazy. But then I think I got back in February, the following February. I was able to like, all right, I can run around and walk. I can't really run around, but I can walk enough to.
Do you feel like it's changed? The business took a different. It's like this. If I leave town for 2 weeks, I come home to different children. They've grown different. They act different. Was the business different when you came back to it in the sense of when you left versus, what was it, a year fully?
What, when I was gone?
Yeah.
No.
How long did it take you to
4 months.
4 months of that?
4 months.
Oh, okay.
And I guess this is during like the slow season, but then Hardy releases his latest album.
Yeah.
So that my entire career with Hardy, every weekend, every month, it's like this growth. So it's all different.
Sure.
Like it just gets crazier and crazier, and people like recognize you more and more. And especially after the accident, it was like, oh, this is Hardy's comeback kind of thing. And he's got a new album.
Exactly.
It was pretty epic, you know?
It was.
And yeah, you get a lot of eyes on you. I don't know.
Do you feel like
it was just growth.
Do you feel like you changed at all you changed as an artist, as a creator?
I think there's a negative aspect here.
Sure.
Which I worry about. Ever since that accident, I've always prided myself on every project that I make or every video that I make. It's something different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you can tell the difference, whether it's the tone, the style, or whatever. I always wanted to be eclectic like that, and I prided myself on that.
Sure.
This year, I find myself, I'm in like a creative rut, which that happens with a lot of artists.
Oh, sure.